Welcome to Histology Hub. For over 1,000 years, millions have turned toward the Kaaba. But how did this sacred place become the very heart of faith and history? Today we reveal the timeless tale of the Kaaba. In the heart of the city of Mecca, which is found in modern-day Saudi Arabia, stands a simple yet profound structure. This is the Kaaba. It is a large cube-shaped building draped in a beautiful black cloth embroidered with golden threads. This cloth is known as the Kiswa. The Kaaba is not a grand palace or a towering monument filled with intricate decorations. Instead, its power lies in its stark simplicity and its immense spiritual significance. It is located within the courtyard of the largest mosque in the world, the Masjid al-Haram, or the Grand Mosque. This single building represents the central point of worship for over 1 billion Muslims scattered across the globe, a unifying symbol in a diverse and widespread faith. The Kaaba itself does not contain anything for people to worship. Muslims do not worship the building, rather, they worship God alone. The structure serves as a Qibla, which means it is the direction that Muslims face when they perform their daily prayers, known as Salah. This act creates a powerful sense of unity and shared purpose. Whether a person is praying in a bustling city in Indonesia, a quiet village in Nigeria, or a modern apartment in Canada, they are all turning their hearts and minds towards this single sacred point. This shared orientation connects them not only to God, but also to every other Muslim in the world, creating a vast, invisible community bound by a common spiritual discipline. The building's physical appearance is striking because of its minimalism. It is made of granite and stands about 13 meters high, with sides measuring approximately 11 by 12.5 meters. In its eastern corner is the Black Stone, or Al-Hajar al-Aswad, an ancient stone which tradition says fell from heaven. Pilgrims who visit the Kaaba often try to touch or kiss this stone, following the example of the Prophet Muhammad. The Kaaba has a single door made of solid gold, which is raised above the ground to protect the interior from floods and intruders. The inside is empty, except for 3 pillars supporting the roof and some hanging lamps, emphasizing that the building's importance is not in what it holds, but in what it represents. To stand in the presence of the Kaaba is to feel the weight of history and the pull of eternity. It is a place where time seems to bend, connecting the present moment with a sacred past that stretches back for millennia. For Muslims, it is the house of God, Beit Allah, a sanctuary designated by God for humanity's worship. Its location in a barren desert valley speaks to a deep spiritual truth that faith can flourish in the most unlikely of places, and that a connection to the divine does not depend on worldly riches or lush surroundings. It is a testament to the idea that a simple space can hold the spiritual aspirations of a significant portion of humanity, acting as a constant and unchanging focal point for devotion. The history of the Kaaba is shrouded in the mists of ancient times, with its origins tied to the very foundations of monotheistic faith. Islamic tradition holds that the Kaaba was first built by Adam, the first man and the first prophet. It was intended to be an earthly reflection of God's celestial throne, a place for humanity to directly connect with the divine. This original structure, the story goes, was lost over time, washed away by the great flood during the time of the prophet Noah. For centuries, its foundations lay buried and forgotten beneath the sands of the Arabian desert, waiting to be rediscovered and restored for a new generation of believers who would seek a connection with the one true God. According to the Quran, the holy book of Islam, the task of rebuilding this sacred house fell to the prophet Abraham, known as Ibrahim in Arabic, and his son Ishmael or Ismail. God guided Abraham to the ancient foundations in the valley of Mecca and commanded him to raise the walls of the sanctuary once more. Together, father and son worked under the hot desert sun, laying stone upon stone to reconstruct the simple cube-like building. This act of construction was not merely a physical task. It was a profound act of worship and submission to God's will. It re-established a physical center for monotheism in a land that would later be dominated by the worship of many different idols and gods. As they built, Abraham prayed for God to make Mecca a land of peace and to bless his descendants who would live there. He also prayed that God would send a messenger from among them to guide them back to the pure faith. This story is deeply significant because it links the Kaaba directly to Abraham, a figure revered by Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike as a patriarch of monotheism. This connection establishes the Kaaba not as a new invention of Islam, but as a restoration of an ancient and universal tradition of worshiping one God. The act of building the Kaaba cemented the Arabian Peninsula's place within the sacred history of the Abrahamic faiths. The Quranic narrative of the Kaaba's construction highlights themes of faith, obedience, and lineage. It emphasizes that this was a place consecrated for the worship of the one God long before the advent of Islam. The story of Abraham and Ishmael's labor serves as a powerful reminder that the site's holiness is not a recent development, but is rooted in a prophetic history shared by a large part of humanity. This ancient lineage gives the Kaaba its timeless quality, presenting it as a sanctuary that transcends any single period of history. It was built as a universal house of worship, a legacy that would be fulfilled centuries later with the arrival of the Prophet Muhammad. For many centuries before the birth of the Prophet Muhammad in the 6th century CE, the Kaaba served as a major religious and cultural center for the various tribes of the Arabian Peninsula. Although its Abrahamic origins were remembered in some traditions, its original purpose had become obscured. The Kaaba was transformed into a pantheon, a place that housed hundreds of idols representing different tribal gods and goddesses. Each tribe had its own deity, and their images were placed inside and around the sacred structure. This made Mecca a vital pilgrimage site for the polytheistic Arabs, who would travel from all over the peninsula to pay homage to their ancestral gods. This annual pilgrimage was not just a religious event, it was also a crucial social and economic occasion. During the pilgrimage months, a truce was declared among the often warring Arab tribes, allowing for safe travel and trade. Poets would gather to recite their latest works in famous competitions, and merchants would set up bustling markets. The Kaaba, therefore, was the heart of a complex system that bound the peninsula together through shared rituals, commerce, and cultural exchange. The Quraysh, the tribe to which the Prophet Muhammad belonged, were the custodians of the Kaaba, and this role gave them immense prestige, influence, and wealth among the other tribes. Even with the prevalence of idol worship, the memory of a single supreme God, whom the Arabs called Allah, which simply means the God, was never completely lost. He was seen as the high creator God, the Lord of the Kaaba, but he was considered remote and inaccessible. The lesser idols were treated as intercessors, intermediaries who could carry the people's prayers and requests to the distant high God. This complex religious landscape was the world into which Muhammad was born. He grew up witnessing the rituals of the pilgrimage and the reverence people had for the Kaaba, even as he was troubled by the idol worship that had corrupted its original monotheistic purpose. The Kaaba's pre-Islamic role demonstrates its enduring power as a focal point for human spirituality. People have always been drawn to sacred spaces, places where they feel a connection to something greater than themselves. The Kaaba fulfilled this need for the ancient Arabs, providing them with a center for their world and a tangible link to the divine, however they understood it. This long history as a pilgrimage site set the stage for its eventual restoration. When the Prophet Muhammad returned to Mecca victoriously, he did not destroy the Kaaba. Instead, he cleansed it of its idols, restoring it to its original purpose as a house dedicated solely to the worship of the one God, Abraham's God. The pivotal moment in the Kaaba's history came in 630 CE, with the conquest of Mecca by the Prophet Muhammad and his followers. After years of exile and persecution, he returned to his birth city not for revenge, but to complete his mission. He entered the Grand Mosque and circled the Kaaba 7 times, a ritual known as tawaf. Then, he proceeded to destroy the 360 idols that had been placed inside and around it, declaring, "Truth has come and falsehood has vanished." This symbolic act was a powerful statement. The Kaaba was being rededicated to its original Abrahamic purpose as a center for the worship of the one true God. From that day forward, it became the undisputed spiritual center of Islam. This rededication transformed the Kaaba's significance forever. It was no longer a local Arabian shrine, but the heart of a rapidly growing global faith. The Quran institutionalized the pilgrimage to Mecca, making the Hajj one of the 5 pillars of Islam. The Hajj is a journey that every adult Muslim must undertake at least once in their lifetime if they are physically and financially able. This pilgrimage involves a series of rituals performed over several days in and around Mecca, with the tawaf around the Kaaba being one of the central rites. This obligation ensures that the Kaaba remains a living, breathing center of faith, visited by millions of people each year. Today, the Kaaba stands as the ultimate symbol of unity for Muslims worldwide. 5 times a day, from every corner of the earth, Muslims turn towards it in prayer. This shared direction, the Qibla, creates a profound sense of global community, transcending borders, cultures, and languages. During the Hajj and the lesser pilgrimage known as Umrah, this unity becomes physical and visible. Millions of pilgrims, dressed in simple white garments that erase distinctions of wealth and status, move together as one body around the Kaaba. This powerful experience reinforces the Islamic ideal of equality, where all stand as equals before God in a shared act of devotion. In our modern, often fragmented world, the Kaaba's role as a unifying symbol is more important than ever. It is a constant reminder of a shared heritage, a common purpose, and a direct link to a sacred history that began with Adam and was renewed by Abraham. It is not just a historical monument, it is the vibrant, beating heart of the Muslim world. Its simple, unchanging form provides a powerful anchor of stability and continuity in a rapidly changing world. For over 1,400 years, it has been the focal point of Muslim prayer and aspiration, a testament to an enduring faith and the timeless human quest for a connection with